Week 3 of college football. Here we go. And look who's going to be on the top one right there that we're going to start with. Oregon. Oregon plays Montana. Oregon, this is a game you should win. And hey, it's against a 2-0 team. It's in a small conference. Or whatever. Oregon for the win. North Carolina versus Wake Forest. This should be a very interesting game. I will go with actually North Carolina. I feel like North Carolina is going to pull up a big upset. Maybe. Kansas versus Boston College. Here we go, Kansas. This is the game to prove that you're legit. Sadly, it's not going to come true. Boston College wins. Washington State versus Houston. If you can't really see that, I'm sorry. But Washington State versus Houston. This is a game to me where Houston needs to prove itself that they are a good team. But I do believe Washington State University, I don't have any really big faith in them to win the Pac-12, because let's be for real. It's hard to, even though it's right now hard to count them out, but who do they have? It's not surprising they're 2-0. It's just that the way they're 2-0. I don't think they really have any competition outside of the Pac-12 in these three weeks until this game. But I will go with Washington State University to beat Houston. Arkansas State versus Georgia, and I'm gonna do a moment's silence for the coach for his wife. So, moment of silence. Yeah, that's sad. This game, that's such a sad moment, losing a wife and all that. Tragic. It was really tragic, and I think in this game, Georgia's obviously going to win. They won't just win; they're going to dominate. And I don't be surprised if they Gatorade the coach and give him the football. I think, even though if he needs some time off to get some closure, you could say, then either way, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I think Georgia's going to win either way, but at this moment, it's more than just football. It's more than football. Georgia wins. Eastern Michigan versus Illinois. I'm going with Illinois. Furman versus Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, to me, should win this one. So, Kansas State versus Mississippi State. Both teams are 2-0. I think Kansas State could win, but no, Mississippi State wins. Maryland versus Temple. I will actually go with Temple. I think Temple pulls the upset. Miami, Ohio versus Cincinnati. I'm going with Cincinnati because they had a huge, pathetic loss last week against the Buckeyes. Let's be for real. It was pathetic. NC State versus West Virginia. I'm going with NC State. Ohio State versus Indiana. Are we sure this is the team they're playing? We sure? But they're not good. Ohio State wins. Pittsburgh versus Penn State. Now, it's been a while since Pittsburgh beat Penn State. Penn State wins this one. Tennessee, Chattanooga. Oh my God! I swear, if Tennessee loses this game, I'm gonna laugh. Tennessee should win this game. I'm gonna pick them. But when you lose to teams like Georgia State and BYU, yeah, that's a moment of silence right about there. How pathetic the school is, how pathetic the team is. I mean, my God. But anyway, Tennessee for the win. They can win number 1. Cadell versus Georgia Tech. Air Force versus Colorado. I'm going with Colorado. Florida Atlantic versus Ball State. I'm going to actually go with Ball State. Norfolk State versus Coastal Carolina. New Mexico versus Notre Dame. There's no way New Mexico is going to beat Notre Dame. And guess what? Notre Dame, because they're playing easy competition, they're going to run it, I think, to Georgia next week. And guess what's going to happen? Georgia's going to beat the living crap out of Notre Dame. And Notre Dame's season will be done. Mark my word. But Notre Dame for the win. Acorn versus Central Michigan. Alabama versus South Carolina. South Carolina's a threat. No. Bama for the win. Army versus UTSA. Army should have won last week, and they're going to win this time. East Carolina versus Navy. I am going with Navy. Georgia Southern versus Minnesota. Here we go. Is Minnesota going to join Tennessee? No, wait, no. Sorry. I'm thinking of Georgia State. My bad. No, Minnesota wins this one. My bad. Memphis versus South Alabama. Memphis. Oklahoma State versus Tulsa. Oklahoma State. Stanford versus UCF. Now, this game to me is going to be a very, very, very interesting game. And I do believe Stanford pulls the upset. I'm going with Stanford to beat UCF. UNLV versus Northwestern. I'm going with Northwestern. USC versus BYU. I will go with USC. I feel like there's something about USC might be interesting this year. I don't know. Arizona State versus Michigan State. Now, this is a game where I can see either team win. But I'm going to go with Michigan State because it's the home crowd. Their defense looks legit. And they're easy. I mean, Arizona State, yeah, I can't say it. Whatever. Arizona State, yeah, I don't feel like they have that much power to go against Michigan State. So Michigan State for the win. Bethune-Cookman versus Miami. Colorado State versus Arkansas. Colorado State. Iowa versus Iowa State. I'm going with Iowa because why not? Even though I feel like Iowa State could win this game, either one could, but I'm going with Iowa. Louisville versus Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky. Southeastern Louisiana versus Mississippi. Cal Poly versus Oregon State. If Oregon State loses this one, they're really that pathetic. Idaho State versus Utah. North Texas versus Cal. And Cal is coming off from an impressive win against Washington at Washington. Which was, I will be honest, I was shocked. I'm going with Cal. Idaho versus Wyoming. Louisiana Tech versus Bowling Green. I'll go with Bowling Green. Buffalo versus Liberty. I'm going with Liberty. South Carolina State versus South Florida. Southern Miss versus Troy. UMass versus Charlotte. Ohio versus Marshall. I'm going to go with Marshall. Duke versus MTSU. Duke. Florida versus Kentucky. Kentucky pulled off a huge upset last year. But you know what? I'm going with Kentucky. I think Kentucky gets back-to-back wins. I don't care if I'm wrong. I like to see some upsets. Georgia State versus Western Michigan. I'm going with Western Michigan. Kent State versus Auburn. Sadly. Lamar versus Texas A&M. Murray State versus Toledo. New Hampshire versus Florida Intel. I'm going with the Florida Intel. I don't know. Texas State versus SMU. Weber State versus Nevada. Clemson versus Syracuse. Oh no, it's Syracuse, the team that almost beat Clemson. They got a good shot, right? No. I hate the idea of people like saying, "Oh, there's always going to be there's got to be one good team in the ACC not named Clemson." Here's the truth: there is no other good team in the ACC besides Clemson. Clemson is literally the only good team in that conference, and let's be for real, that conference is the worst because it's only got one great team. One. If Syracuse beats Clemson, then sure, but I'm going with Clemson. Florida State versus Virginia. God, I would have loved Florida State to go 0-2. Then they almost did. But I'm going with Virginia because Willie Taggart is not a good head coach at this point. Should have stayed in Oregon there, buddy. Should have stayed. Hawaii versus Washington. And now Washington's going to come back from an embarrassing loss from Cal. But I'm going to go with Washington. There's no way Hawaii goes into Washington and beats them. If that happens, then you know what? Washington, there's something wrong. Northwestern State versus LSU. Oh, God. It's the bye week, right? This is bye week? This is the bye week. This is a bye week. Why is LSU at 4? Well, they deserve it at this point because they're a more complete team than Oklahoma and Ohio State. Come on, LSU. I mean, what do you want me to say? You really think I'm going to pick an upset? Like I'm not still trusting LSU and all that, but I'm not going to be that stupid to go against them at this point against Northwestern State. No, it's not going to be like Troy. Southeast Missouri State versus Missouri. I'm going with Missouri. TCU versus Purdue. I'm going to go with Purdue. I feel like Purdue is going to will be TCU. Texas Southern versus Louisiana. Texas Southern. All right. No, sorry, not Texas Southern. Louisiana. My bad. Missouri State versus Tulane. Tulane. Is that it? Nope. We got more. Northern Illinois versus Nebraska. Oklahoma versus UCLA. Okay, UCLA, this is your time to shine. And no, Chip. Shipwreck, Oklahoma. San Diego State versus New Mexico State. San Diego State. I mean, come on. Texas versus Rice. I swear to God, if Texas loses to Rice, I'm going to laugh, but I'm going with Texas. Portland State versus Boise State. Boise State, come on. And finally, Texas Tech versus Arizona. I will go with actually Arizona. So what are your guys' picks? Which game do you think looks interesting for week 3? I know some LSU fans are going to say their own game, but what can I do? I mean, come on. What can I do? What can I do? Anyway, what do you guys think? Who's going to win what? Leave a score if you want to. Leave a comment down below with the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe me for more videos like this one. This is TG Chief Tank Mode, signing off.